In this practical, we'll see about the seaborn library. Seaborn is data visualization library which plays a very important role in data mining. Seaborn is Python data visualization library based on the matplotlib library. It provides a high-level interface for drawing attractive and informative statistical graphics. It built on the top of the matplotlib and used for the statistical graphics. Seaborn plot is divided into 6 types. First is distribution plot. Distribution plot is further divided into 4 parts. First is disk plot, second is joint plot, third is pair plot, and last one is rug plot. Second type is categorical plot, which further divided into 4 parts. First is bar plot, second is count plot, third is box plot, and fourth is Boolean plot. And third part of a seaborn plot is advanced plot, which contains strip plot and swarm plot. Fourth is matrix plot, which contains the heap map, and second is cluster map. After that, fifth part is a grid. In that we'll see the facet grid, and last one is regression plot. Now listen, what is disk plot? Disk plot gives an histogram for selected continuous variable. We can change the number of bins by using bins parameter in disk plot. Okay, first thing is what you have to, in first case you have to import all the required libraries, that is import numpy as np, import pandas as pd, import matplotlib.py plot. This is a module which belongs to matplotlib library as plt, and lastly I am importing a seaborn library. Okay, now I am performing all operation on the Titanic dataset. Okay, for that I am reading the CSV file. That for reading a CSV file I have taken one variable name df is equals to pd. By using pandas I am going to read this CSV file. For that I have taken pd.readCSV. This is a function. By using this function I am reading the CSV file in bracket train.csv. Train is a name of file which is of Titanic. Okay, and after that I am writing this df. Okay, this is first step, that is I have written the given CSV file which contains 891 rows, this one which contains the total 891 rows and 12 columns. Now first is distribution plot. Distribution plot means what? It is like a histogram, but in seaborn it is treated as a disk plot or distribution plot. So I am importing the library again, that is import seaborn as SNS. Then I am writing the disk plot function for plotting a graph. Okay, for that I have written SNS. This is a variable name which is assigned to seaborn library, sns.diskplot function. Okay, now see how many parameters that we can pass to this diskplot function. For that you have to put your cursor inside the diskplot function, then press the shift tab. Okay, now see here, these are the parameters that you can pass inside this diskplot function. Okay, and here description of all parameters is given inside the description box. So this is your parameters that you can pass inside this diskplot function. Okay, now listen. Now I want to plot a disk plot for my column, that is age. See, this is my given data set which contains the age as a column. I want to plot a disk plot for particular column, that is age. So I will write here sns.diskplot, then x is equals to df in bracket age. That means I want to plot a disk plot for age column. So inside a bracket I have given the name age. So after executing this code I will get this disk plot. Okay, now we can change the bins of the given disk plot. That is one of the parameter that you can use inside a displot function. Suppose I will change the size of beans. Here I will assign beans is equals to 5. Then I will execute this code. See here, beans means what? Your total data is divided into 5 groups. Previously it was 10, but right now I have given as a value of beans is equals to 5. So total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups are there. Okay, suppose instead of 5 you want to change the bean size as a 20, and then execute this code. Now check, total 20 groups are there. Okay, this is the one of the parameter that you can use inside a displot. Now suppose I want to plot a graph for P class column. So instead of age, in next step I will write a P class. So here is your P class displot, which contain 3 class: class A, first class, second class and third class. So here 3 beans are there. Now you want to use a hist function, but hist function is not present in seaborn library. For that we have to use matplotlib library. So for plotting a histogram for this particular column age, I am using the matplotlib libraries. For that I have taken the library import matplotlib.pyplot as py, then I am using this variable name py.hist, and inside the hist function I am writing x is equals to df in bracket age. That means we are plotting a histogram for column age. After executing this code you will get histogram like this. Now I want to change the bean size. Beans is equals to 5. I will write here. Then I will execute this code. See here, beans is equals to 5. Now check how many parameters that are present inside a hist function. For that you have to take your pointer inside this hist function and press shift plus tab. This is the signature of this hist function. You can, by default beans value is null, range is null, density is false. I have written beans is equals to 5, that I want to change the bean size. That's why I have taken the beans parameter. His type, by default his type is bar. See here. Here his type is bar. Suppose you want to change the his type as a step. Align as a mid by default. Okay. Suppose you want to change these 3 parameters. His type is equals to step, align is equals to right, and orientation is equals to horizontal. For that I will copy this code and paste inside this hist function. We'll write here a column and paste this code. Align, by default alignment is mid. I will write here right, and his type suppose I am taking as a step, and orientation by default is vertical. Suppose I want to take horizontal orientation, so I will write here horizontal. Then I will execute this code. Now check, this is my histogram that I have changed with the help of the parameters. Okay. Now see the histogram for the P class. Here alignment is right. Suppose I will take alignment as a left. Here orientation is horizontal written. By default it is vertical. I don't want horizontal orientation, so I will remove this code. His type is step field, and previously I have used the step, and here I have given the color as a red. Now I will change the color as a green. After executing this code, see the P class histogram. Okay, color is green, his type is step field, alignment is left, and here we have plotted a histogram for P class. Okay, now in next step I am plotting a disk plot for age. Disk plot is same as a histogram, but in seaborn you have to use the function as a disk plot for plotting a histogram. Now see here, I want to plot a disk plot for P class. Then I will execute this code. After executing this code, I will get this disk plot. Okay. Now I want to take a disk plot for each column, and the size of base should be 5. I will execute this code. After executing this code, I will get the output like this, which contains total 5 bits and X, that is column is age. Now I am changing the size of piece, that is piece is equals to 20. Suppose I want to change the color. So I am using the parameter color is equals to red. Okay, this is how you can change the parameters and change the picture of the graph. Okay, this is same base as a 10. Now second is distribution plot. Distribution plot helps us to visualize the distribution of data. We can use the plot to understand mean, median, range, variance, deviation of the data. That is a distribution plot. For distribution plot, you have to take the two variables. And after that joint plot is there. Joint plot is a combination of this plot of two variables. It is an example of bivariate analysis. Suppose I am taking one joint plot for age, as well as on x-axis I have taken age, and on the y-axis I have taken the fair. And the kind, that means type of a graph, is scatter. And for plotting a second graph, I have taken on x-axis as age, y-axis for fair, and type of a graph is hex. After executing this code, I will get a joint plot like this. First is scatter and second is hex. Scatter, this is a type of graph. See here, this is of type scatter, and hex is this one. This is a hex. This is a joint plot. Okay. After that we'll see a pair plot. Pair plot takes all numerical attribute of a data and plot a pairwise scatter plot for two different variables and histogram for the same variable. See, this is a pair plot. After pair plot, bar plot is there. Bar plot is used for bivariate analysis. On x-axis you have to take the categorical variable, and on y-axis you have to take the continuous variable. So from given data set, on x-axis I have taken the gender, and on y-axis I have taken the continuous value, that is fair. After executing this code, I will get the graph like this, which is of type bar plot. Now see how many parameters that are present for bar plot. Shift tab. By default on x-axis null value is there, on y-axis null is there. So here on x-axis I have assigned one value, and on y-axis I have assigned another value. Orient is null. Now check another parameters that we can pass, as well as the description of the given parameter. See here, orient either V or H is there. By default, suppose H is there. Now I want to change it into vertical. So here I will write it should be quotation. There is a type error. What is type error? The horizontal orientation requires a numeric x value. That means you have to change the values of x-axis and y-axis. In that case only you can change your orientation. Okay. After that, count plot is there. Count plot is used to count the number of occurrences of a categorical variable. It is an example of univariate analysis. For count plot, one function is there, that is count plot function. For that I have taken one library, that is seaborn. Import seaborn as SNS, then I am using the count plot function. Okay, SNS.countPlot. Inside that I want to plot a graph for column P class. So I am passing the P class as a column name, and x is equals to P class. After executing this code, I will get this P class. First class is, count of first class is there about 200, count of second class which is less than 200, and count of third class is there about 500. This is your count plot. Okay. Now check how many parameters are there for count plot. Shift tab. Here by default color is none. I want to change the color, so I will take this parameter color and I will change the color of a graph. See, my graph color is changed. Now it's in green color. Okay, this is how I have changed the graph color. Now after count plot, box plot is there. What is box plot? This is 5-point summary plot. It gives information about max, mean, first quartile and third quartile of continuous variable. Also equips us with knowledge of outliers. We can plot this for single continuous variable, or we can analyze the different categorical variable based on the continuous variable. For box plot, one function is there, that is box plot function, and inside that box plot function you have to pass the parameter for x-axis and for the y-axis. So here I have taken the library, that is seaborn. Import seaborn as SNS. After that I have taken the first plot, that is count plot df P class, and for second plot I have taken the box plot. After executing this code, you will get a box plot. for the ages and gender as well. This is your box plot. Now after box plot, violin plot is there. Violin plot is similar to box plot but gives supplementary information about the distribution too. So for plotting this graph, you have to use the function that is violin plot. Here you have to pass one variable, one column name to one axis, another column name to another axis, and grid size is there. By default, grid size is 100. If you want to change the grid size, you can change the grid size. Okay. And by default width is 0.8, but here I have changed the width, that is 1.5, and orientation I have given the right. After executing this code, you will get a violin plot like this. Suppose I will remove this grid size. By default grid size is 100, and it will see here. This is by default. This is your violin part. After violin plot, strip plot is there, which is an advanced type of a plot. It plots between continuous variable and categorical variable. It plots as a scatter plot but supplementary uses categorical encoding of the categorical variable, and it is used to impute up basic values. For plotting a strip plot, you have to use the function that is strip plot. See here, a strip plot function is there, and I have taken the two variable, that is age and p class, for two axes. And after executing this code, you will get a strip plot like this. P class label is given to x-axis, y class is label given to age. For y-axis label given is age. This is your strip plot. If you want to check the description of this function, then take your pointer inside this function and click the shift tab and check the parameters that you can give to this particular function. And if you want, you can change the line width, orient, order, color, data, and so on. And description is given below this parameter also. After checking this description, you can use this parameter for the given graph. Okay. After strip plot, swarm plot is there. It is a combination of strip plot plus violin plot. So here I have taken the function that is swarm plot, and I have taken the two column for two axes, y is equals to age and x is equals to class. After executing this, you will get a swarm plot. Structure of swarm plot is like this. Okay, this is about the swarm plot. After that, matrix plot is there. Matrix plot is a special type of plot that uses two-dimensional matrix data for visualization. It is difficult to analyze and generates the pattern from matrix data because it's large dimension. So this makes process easier by providing a color coding to matrix data. In matrix plot, heat map is there. So firstly we'll take a heat map. After executing this, you will get a heat map for the given data set of train. Okay, for that we'll use another file. heat map is a graphical representation of two-dimensional data. Each data value represents in a matrix and it has a special color. So firstly, I have imported all the libraries for heat map. Seaborn library, pandas library, lumpy library as well as matplotlib library. And after that, I have taken one matrix, that is array 2D. I have created this array. Array 2D is equals to np.linespace. Linespace is a function in lumpy by using which we can create a two-dimensional array, and inside this function you have to pass three variables. First variable is minimum value for that particular matrix, second variable is for the maximum value for that matrix, and third value is for the total numbers that are present inside the given matrix, that is a 12. Dot reshape, that means you have to convert these numbers into 4x3 matrix. This is how we have created a 4x3 matrix. And after that, I have printed this matrix, that is print array 2D. After executing this code, you will get this matrix. See here, this matrix contains total 12 values, and the minimum value is 1, maximum value is 5, and all the remaining values, that are total 10 values, that are ranges in between 1 to 5. Okay, this is how we have created a 2D array. Now second thing is how to plot a heat map. For creating a heat map, you have to use the heat map function. So sns dot heat map, you want to plot a heat map for 2D array. So I have passed the given array inside this heat map function. This is how we have created a heat map. After writing this, I have executed this code. Now see, my code is executing. The meaning of this star is what? This current line is still in execution step. For that, you have to restart and run all the code. Go to kernel and click on restart and run all. See, second cell is under execution state. After executing, we will move towards the next point.